we are gearing up for a summer of drought.
We'll tell you about a rare California tornado that took place over the weekend.
Tornado that actually touches down on the ground and then finally ropes out.
Good news about Florida's citrus crops.
When you look at the most pressing and dire issue, which is greening, that we've been dealing with as an industry, we now have solutions. We have answers to that.
And what you can do now to get your garden ready for spring planting.
But right now, you can start hardening off your plants by putting plants outside on days where it's nice, warm, above 50, 55 degrees, and then tucking them back in at night.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
And good morning. Welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. Extreme weather is hitting several parts of the U.S. and different regions are experiencing different types of severe weather. We began this report from Reed Binion.
I think there was a lot of anxiety going into it. I think we've all learned a lot of lessons on what we can do to prepare for each storm.
A powerful multi-day storm continued to lash Hawaii with heavy rain into the weekend, triggering flood alerts in a state still recovering from destructive floods in March. This recent storm dumping more than a month's worth of rain on parts of Hawaii.
Every little drop is a little scary on what's going to happen next.
In Colorado, a very different weather-related issue, not enough water.
Record low snowpacks combined with record-breaking warmth.
We're at 41% of our historical average snow water equivalents.
Drought conditions in the state prompting water conservation efforts. Officials and experts warning things could get worse as we head into the warmer months.
Pattern right now is drought. So we are gearing up for a summer of drought.
Georgia also facing worsening drought conditions.
And that's almost like a brick. I mean, that's just hard Georgia red clay, and it is super dry.
According to the latest U.S. Drought Monitor, 98% of the state is experiencing some level of drought, causing concern among farmers during planting season.
It's almost like running a big piece of sandpaper over it. It's so dry.
And while spring may have started weeks ago, parts of California are still experiencing wintry conditions, including a winter storm warning over the weekend and heavy snowfall in the Sierras.
And this year was really weird. It's like snow melts.
And more than 50 million people are at a slight to enhanced risk of severe weather today. Areas from the upper Mississippi Valley through the Great Lakes region have the potential for large to very large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes. Areas of the Southern Plains and Texas have a lesser or marginal risk of severe weather. And as you just heard, California saw heavy thunderstorms this weekend. One of those storms packed an extra punch on Sunday afternoon. Meteorologist Ilya Newham explains why.
To our north, we are in the South Valley, but up in the North Valley, there was a tornado up here in the Chico area just to the north. Here is footage of that. Quite significant once again. Just after 2 o'clock, Maritza Arreola snapped this shot of a developing tornado that actually touches down on the ground and then finally ropes out. This is quite a shot indeed of a tornadic thunderstorm. You can see right here up there near Vina, California, on the North Valley side of things. And no surprises there. We've got instability, thunderstorms, and the circulation around the upper level low.
Well, that drought we mentioned is causing worry to shower over some Georgia farmers, much like they wish the rain would. Abby Corres tells us about the strain they're up against.
In Morgan County, farmer Lee Nunn starts every day the same way. He checks the ground, then he checks the sky, because the dirt under his boots is drying out fast.
And that's almost like a brick. I mean, that's just hard Georgia red clay, and it is super dry.
And that hard clay doesn't just sit there, it eats up his equipment and cash.
It's almost like running a big piece of sandpaper over it. It's so dry.
Nunn's not alone. The latest U.S. Drought Monitor shows 98% of Georgia sits in drought right now. Half of the state falls in extreme drought, while nearly 1 in 5 sits in exceptional drought, the worst category. And you can see it. Lake levels dropping, rivers thinning out, and fire danger climbing. This hits at the worst time. It's planting season. Cotton, peanuts, wheat. The seed needs moisture. Fertilizer needs moisture. Without water, every pass across a field turns into a gamble.
Less weight, that means less yield, that means less money.
Margins are already thin. Diesel and fertilizer prices are going up. There are alternatives, but they cost money.
This is a cornfield, and the corn is about 3 weeks old.
In Oglethorpe, farmer Donald Chase shows us a field. Corn still small, but already thirsty. Water irrigation helps, but drives the cost up.
If you see pivots running, understand that is raising the cost of producing that crop.
For Nunn, he's putting extra money in the offering plate and saying prayers, hoping it rains soon or the drought starts calling the shots for the rest of the season.
If you're a farmer, you're the biggest gambler there is. When you place a seed in the ground and hope, 6 months later that everything goes well.
And some good news for Florida citrus growers. After years of devastating setbacks like disease, hurricanes, and freezes, new numbers show production could be turning in the right direction. El Pefli reports.
The latest USDA Florida citrus forecast is out, and it shows a slight bump in production. Orange output in Florida is up about 2% from the crop forecast that was issued in January, and grapefruit is up about 4%. That may not sound like much, but after years of losses, growers say it matters. Florida citrus has been hammered by disease, recent freezes, and hurricanes.
I have to be realistic and say we'll never become, again, what we once were.
Dan Ritchie has about 2,000 acres of citrus near Vero Beach. He says prices at the grocery store likely won't drop anytime soon because a lot of citrus sold in the U.S. still comes from other countries like Brazil. Recent cold snaps didn't help either.
It was a devastating freeze. We hadn't had one like that since 1989.
Citrus growers are also dealing with rising costs and citrus greening, a disease that kills trees. But there is some hope.
I remain very positive. I'm a glass half full guy. We do have some things that are working. We have methodologies that are working to sustain the new generation of trees. The older trees are more or less gone. They are not going to survive the greening. So what we're doing is we're planting new trees with new therapies, with a multitude of different approaches to that, so that we can sustain these new trees.
Even with this small boost, the overall harvest is still expected to be lower than last season, which was the worst in more than 100 years in Florida. But industry leaders believe there are solutions.
When you look at the most pressing and dire issue, which is greening, that we've been dealing with as an industry, we now have solutions. We have answers to that will allow us to start to rebuild and be productive.
Ritchie, who's been in the business for decades, says the industry isn't going anywhere.
I wouldn't say we're in trouble. I say we recognize what our challenges are, and we're taking all precautionary steps that are necessary to move forward.
Well, spring is settling in for some parts of the country, and those with green thumbs are getting into the soil. But in places like northern Michigan, it's still too early to start planting, but there are some things eager gardeners can do. Ethan Foreman has more.
It's still too early to plant outside anything, so you want to just get your beds prepared, have a plan made, sketch down what you might want to see in your garden throughout the season.
Crystal Vantham with the Plant Masters of Sutton's Bay says that if you plan on getting ready for the planting season, it's a great time to start planning and preparing.
Typically in northern Michigan, you can plan on planting around Memorial Day. Keep in mind, last year we had a June 1st frost that really was detrimental on a lot of gardens.
Though it is too early to plant outside, you can bring them outside during the day and inside at night.
But right now you can start hardening off your plants by putting plants outside on days where it's nice, warm, above 50, 55 degrees, and then tucking them back in at night to be protected.
With the above average snowfall this winter and lots of rain over the past few weeks, Vantham says that this is going to be a good spring season.
I think with all the snow, we're going to have a nice, I think the soil moisture is going to be nice for the season. We're going to have all that, runoff from the melting snow.
Some plants you can get ready now, where others you will have to wait a while to get ready.
Primrose, pansies, even things like snapdragons, some perennials right now are things that you could get going and leave out during the day and take in at night, where your tender plants, one being basil, you're going to need to keep above 55 degrees at all times.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, it's severe weather season, and that means tornadoes, but Tornado Alley may be moving east. We'll show you why, and we'll help you better understand Mattis clouds and how they form.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. We're looking at a good amount of clouds for your Monday and some scattered showers, maybe even a few downpours associated with this as well. And then Tuesday, I do think we start out with a good amount of sunshine in many areas, but take a look off to the west. Some showers and thunderstorms will roll through the region as we head through the evening and nighttime. That is something to watch, of course. And then for the day on Wednesday, another round of showers possible. Temperatures in the 60s for many areas. Head down to the south. We're looking at 70s down to the south.
Meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. To start off, some scattered showers are possible leading into the afternoon. Many of us, though, will start to dry out overnight. It looks good into Tuesday with a warm forecast on the way. High temperatures will rise to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even the 80s for a warm start to the work week. Then overnight, temperatures will drop down to the 50s and 60s across the region.
Hi, meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. A warm start to the week across the southeast. High pressure remains in control. This keeps our weather pattern warm and dry with temperatures running in the mid to upper 70s across most of the Carolinas, into the mid and upper 80s for parts of central and south Florida, and the mid 80s for most of the Mississippi River Valley. Could see a few passing showers across the Mississippi River Valley heading into Monday. Otherwise dry and sunny for the rest of the southeast with a few passing clouds along the east coast of Florida.
Presented by the National Weather Desk.
Parts of Texas got a dose of wet weather with a splash of noise, lightning and thunder in San Antonio on Sunday. Now to this weather opposite, a stunning sunrise recently to open the day at Myrtle Beach. And security cameras caught this large black bear trying to snag a snack of birdseed. Now that spring is here, singing feathered friends in some areas might have furry competition.
Well, it's severe weather season, and that means tornadoes, but Tornado Alley may be moving east. Meteorologist Hannah Sheehy explains the shift.
Let's first discuss what Tornado Alley is and why it's a popular spot for tornado genesis. Classic Tornado Alley spans from the Great Plains, from Texas to the Dakotas, though it has no official boundaries. It frequently sees ideal tornado conditions where warm, moist Gulf air collides with colder, drier air north and hot, dry southwest air, creating a perfect environment for severe weather. Although tornadoes in the past have not been confined to this area in the past, studies show that from 1950 to 84, tornadoes have touched down most frequently in classic Tornado Alley. Data from 1985 to 2019 shows that this is actually shifting south and east into the lower Mississippi Valley and southeast. Regional tornado trends show that there have been more favorable tornado days, which are days the atmosphere is unstable and favors severe thunderstorm development, than there were back in the 70s. But why is this happening? The Southwest is becoming hotter and drier, often in droughts and supplying less low-level moisture. Meanwhile, the Gulf sends abundant moisture north into the Midwest, where it collides with cooler air, creating more favorable conditions for tornado development than the Great Plains once did. Trends this year have been favoring Midwestern states too, with 279 confirmed tornadoes this year.
Well, in Little Rock, Arkansas, officials are working to prevent power outages this severe weather season. They are trimming trees and using new technology. Autumn Foltz explains.
Entergy crews are cutting back limbs across Arkansas, targeting trees that could threaten power lines.
When the tree sways, of how close that's getting into the lines, that's kind of one of the factors that we're looking at when we're out scouting lines for trimming opportunities.
This year, they're also getting help from above. Entergy's Robert White says satellite imagery and even artificial intelligence are helping crews identify problem areas before storms arrive.
It tells us where we need to put resources, and then we can go out.
The work isn't just about prevention, it's about response. Clearing brush helps crews reach down lines faster, especially in dangerous conditions.
If we've got brush and our linemen can't get to our facilities, that's going to delay our restoration time.
Entergy officials say homeowners should also plan ahead and not plant too close to transmission lines.
But if you do plant a tree or any type of vegetation that's going to encroach on that right-of-way, we're going to have to maintain it, just like these guys are doing right now.
Because when storms hit, those trees can become a real danger.
Over time, if vegetation impacts those lines, they're going to fall.
And with spring storms expected soon, the risk is only growing.
Well, every spring here in Arkansas in the natural state, we always have a couple rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms that could bring power lines down. I mean, even produce some very large hail. Tornadoes will bring down power lines as well.
Strong winds in saturated ground can cause trees to snap or topple.
Even the littlest wind gusts, 40, 50, maybe stronger than that, can bring down whole trees because the grounds are so saturated with those roots. So those can cause trees to topple down on power lines as well, and lots of power outages.
Which is why crews say doing this work now can make all the difference later.
So that when we get to springtime, we're prepared and we can come out and restore everybody safely and quickly.
As temperatures warm, bears are waking up and becoming more active in the western North Carolina mountains. That means extra reminders to be bear aware about trash and prevent unwanted encounters with these creatures. Taylor Thompson has more.
Ashley Hobbs says it all comes down to keeping people and pets safe while ensuring bears stay wild.
Bears love trash, and when we make it accessible to them, it causes them to lose their fear of humans and our human spaces, like our homes and roads and vehicles.
I wanted us to actually go out to a neighborhood. Hobbs and I hit the streets of a Buncombe County neighborhood to see how residents are handling their trash and whether they're setting a good example for others. From bear straps to other options, we found a few that really make a difference.
If you're somebody that lives in a community where you know bears are going to get into your trash can, or you want to avoid bears coming to your garage, you know, these little strap sets are a great place to start.
Or what Hobbs says is the best option, a bear-resistant trash can.
They have these reinforced lids and rims, so a bear can knock it over, use their teeth claws to get in here, but they won't be able to activate the trash can. Now, we can still get access to the trash by using this pinching mechanism here. And when we pinch it, it releases the lid, and when it closes, it automatically latches, which is exactly what you want when you live in bear country.
Hobbs says those who aren't being bear-wise can become too complacent.
They're allowing bears to get into their trash can and not taking steps to secure the trash. They are feeding wildlife and therefore feeding the bears. And they're also allowing bears to be too comfortable. They're allowing bears to take a nap in the backyard, for example, and that does not keep bears safe.
While areas can earn recognition as bear-wise communities, it can also be taken away. Hobbs encourages residents to follow the bear-wise checklist. Never feed or approach bears, secure food and garbage, remove bird feeders.
It only takes about 70% compliance is what the data shows to see these major benefits to bears and people.
Remember that respecting boundaries are important.
It's normal to see bears in urban and suburban environments. However, they should not be hanging around in your yard or your community. They should just be passing through.
Well, bears are not the only wild animals starting to appear as temperatures warm up. In northern Wisconsin, experts are reminding humans to help keep wildlife wild. Eric Peterson tells the story from Green Bay.
Inside this noisy box are 5 baby raccoons. Alejandra Farfan's family found them at a work site Tuesday.
They're really tiny. They were crying a lot. We were trying to feed them at home, but they need more care. More care. They probably need a mommy too, so hopefully they can find them a mommy too.
Farfan brought the animals to the Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary in Green Bay. Bailey Jokey is an animal keeper and rehabilitator here.
They looked pretty good, just a little dehydrated, so we'll make sure we get them some fluids right away and making sure that they're also really warm too, because they were really cold.
From raccoons to rabbits to these eastern gray squirrels. Animal curator Lori Bankson says Bay Beach is starting to get busy. But she says keeping wildlife wild often means not every animal needs to be dropped off.
A lot of times mom is only coming at sunrise and sunset. A lot of times we can put birds back into the nest, or the squirrels can be transferred from their mom from maybe a broken nest into a different place.
Prognosis is to be able to get released back out into the wild, make sure they are fully healthy, giving them some good food for them, shelter, water, and some good TLC and care, and getting them back into the wild.
I know they do good caring here. We just wanted to make sure that they're good, they're healthy, and hopefully they can find like a mom that can give them a little bit of warmth and just get better.
And as we head to break, we take in views of Snoqualmie Falls in Washington State.
Well, a very good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Watch out for the potential of some severe storms over the next several days, especially across the Central Plains. We've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's going to be warm and humid over the next several days, including the day tomorrow. A little cooler here to the north with some highs in the 60s. And then we got more storms firing up on Wednesday. So again, make sure to stay weather aware across the Central Plains.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at forecast across the region. We're watching another area from Texas and Oklahoma for a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for severe storms this afternoon and this evening. It's an isolated threat, but the opportunity is there. Temperatures will climb to the 80s, and then we'll watch another threat on your Tuesday. Again, same area from Abilene up towards Oklahoma City with some strong to severe thunderstorms.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. That storm system that brought snow as well as heavy rain through parts of California will continue to push its way more inland, bringing the chance for showers as well as thunderstorms through Salt Lake City and parts of Nevada, as well as gusty conditions through Las Vegas and in parts of northern Arizona. Daytime highs a touch cooler in the middle 60s from LA through San Diego, 80 degrees in Phoenix. We've got 50s on tap for Missoula and Seattle.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
And as you know, we love teaching about weather cloud types here at the National Weather Desk. And today we want to teach you about mammatus clouds. Here's meteorologist Brett Luma.
You ever seen these types of clouds that look like that right there? These are one of the coolest cloud formations, in my opinion, that you can get. They're some of my favorite types of clouds. But my good buddy Chase out in New Mexico sent me this photo that he took yesterday. The Albuquerque area had some strong thunderstorms around the area, and these came along with it. These are mammatus clouds, and if you've ever seen these in person, you know just how cool they look. They just look like these smooth little pouches that are hanging under a cloud. They're usually associated with strong thunderstorms, and they form on the underside of an anvil cloud. So here's how they form. Inside a thunderstorm, you have things like water droplets, ice crystals, hail, things like that. This precip drags air downward, making pockets of cooler, dense air. These sinking pockets push downward from the base of the cloud, and then they form these pouches that you see right here. If you've seen any cool clouds lately, send me your pictures. I'd love to talk a little bit more about them.
And we love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.